So sometimes on your spiritual journey, you will discover that there will be days where you feel like you want to be outgoing, like, you know, you have to give a lot of energy to people. And sometimes you will feel like crawling into a hole and building like a shelter for yourself somewhere in the woods and retreat into the mountain like Gollum. So Gollum was basically running on nothing else but on greed. And that like sucked him dry. And it made him into a unrecognizable being from where he started off. And you could say that he had this lack of self-love, and when he found the ring promised him all these things. It's basically like pornography, or like coffee, or like anything that tempts you. That's basically the ring. Temptation. And if you give in to this temptation constantly, and there's a lot of things that are very tempting. It's very tempting to help others, because it may make you feel good. It's very tempting to drink coffee because, you know, it's like whoosh. Watching pornography is very tempting. Having sex is very tempting. Eating sugar is very tempting. Using your smartphone is very tempting. Like maintaining the same kind of habits day in and day out for the rest of your life is very tempting because it's easy. Whether or not they are healthy, but it's easy. Dressing in a way that you think others might like is very tempting, because that too is easy. It means you're going to stay in your comfort zone, because you feel comfortable if you think that people like you. Sending an email to someone is tempting instead of calling the person, because calling someone takes courage. Driving to someone unannounced takes courage. I think writing a letter takes courage, because nobody does that anymore. So basically anything that nobody else does takes courage. Because they're gonna smile, you know? Say like, oh, what is he doing this for? Oh yeah, he's so funny. That's just jealousy. If people try to belittle you, it shows how they feel about themselves. Because if they have to belittle you, make you look small for what you're doing, it means they feel small in your presence. So if somebody tries to make what you do sound weird or crazy or whatever, they're actually afraid of your courage more than anything else. Because at least you're trying, right? You're making an effort. You know, sometimes people came and they grew a mustache, and some people were picking on it. But for me, it was just a phase. To me, it was a time where I could change my outside, and for that, to induce a change on the inside. To kickstart a change on the inside, it's often easy to first change on the outside, because that's what you see every day. So like this sweater, it's from my brother. It's pink or something. I like it. I don't have to wear it every day, but I can wear it occasionally if I feel like it. I like wearing clothes from other people, but only if I like them, if I want to wear it, because it means also connecting with their energy, to feel comfortable in something from somebody else. And now I was sitting in this room, and I don't know when the last time was that I cleaned. I usually do these things on feeling. Because if I set myself, every Sunday I have to clean my room, I get annoyed. I don't like this. I don't like to have a fixed day where I have to clean. Maybe it would be smart, but usually it doesn't work for me because I live in this kind of spontaneous mindset. And for example, now it's probably 2 to 3 weeks ago that I last cleaned this room, which means bringing everything outside, wiping, most of the surfaces, wiping the ground, even the carpet goes outside, because nature and wind, all these energy is going to be cleaned away. I brush everything off and then bring it back in. And then everything is nice and clean. I put on some incense, light some candles, and suddenly I feel myself again. But the thing is, if you're going through processes, I go through various processes. Last night I was laying in this bed, and I don't know why I do these things, but sometimes I don't have the energy available to clean this room. It's not that much work, but sometimes I feel like I have to stay in this memory, in this energy right now. I don't know why I said memory. Because memories are energy, right? And sometimes we work with these energies, with these memories. And we work on them to let them go. And I already felt like this room is getting ridiculously filthy. But still, I continue to do my work as best as I can. And then I find myself masturbating often. And drinking coffee. The funny thing is, what has been brought to my attention once more is that when I masturbate or drink coffee, there's usually energy that I want to get rid of. But the problem is that if you live in a room and you don't clean it, you always tap into the same energy again. So maybe you picked it up somewhere, or it's something inside of you. But the thing is, it's like you sit on that chair and you masturbate, you watch porn, that creates a kind of energy. Every time you sit on that chair again, you sit in that same energy again. And then of course comes the habit. I've done it once, you want to do it again and again and again. That's just how it is. But also because it's the same kind of energy. So energy leaves stains. If you have kind of thoughts, it creates an energy. You know, law of attraction. So yesterday it was like weird. I've been working on this new book, and for that I create paintings. It just happened spontaneously. I just needed to do something else, and now I'm juggling several balls. So before, I was only doing YouTube, and then I managed to like push my podcast in between to get that done for the rest of the year, because I just needed to have that out of the way. And now I'm scheduling my YouTube channel ahead also, and at the same time I'm also writing, so now I'm doing everything kind of at once. So now I'm juggling several balls, and that's also stressful for me because I've never done it like this. It's either I did only writing or I did only this or that. Now I'm doing everything at once. I'm drawing, I'm recording videos for YouTube, and I'm writing a book. So that's 3 different things. And then there's also like helping my family a bit. I can't do everything. Like right now I don't really do a lot of workout because I don't know how to fit that in there. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about transitions. Sometimes you have to focus on certain things until you know how to do them, and then you can do other things alongside them. And right now I'm in this phase, I need to keep myself together and focus only on my work, because otherwise I'm gonna lose it again. So yesterday night something weird happened. I drank a coffee and I worked and stuff, and at some point I just crawled into my bed. I think I got up at 4 in the morning or something, and I did something, like I worked, and then I got back into bed, and I put my hands here, and I was laying there, and there was like absolute madness inside of me. I could pinpoint it even. First of all, there came like this image, I drew an image, and like these shapes that I painted, they kind of came up. And at the same time, like a feeling, an emotion of regret. Something that happened with a young woman once. And I don't know if that was shame. I just know that it felt like coming off of me or something. So I sometimes talk about emotions like an ocean, right? So when you really feel the emotion, like the anger, that means that it came from the bottom of your ocean, if you are the ocean. And when it shows on the outside, it's like a wave, right? You see the wave on the outside. But the wave is maybe already somewhere in the ocean. Only it didn't surface yet. Sometimes emotions surface. And when you start working spiritually on yourself, you are going to stir up all of these emotions. And that means letting go, to not like suppress the emotion and keep it down. No, because if it wants to come up, you can like let it go. But sometimes it's like heavy, because you started a process now, and you may not really understand what is happening. I don't usually understand what's happening. I just know what I have to do, but I don't understand all these details. Like I know it was important to clean the room. I know it's important to do all these kinds of things, but I don't always see their purpose. I know it has something to do with energy. Certain deeds have something to do with energy. Like waiting for somebody to approach you instead of approaching them. There's sometimes importance to it. Which side has to come now. to make an effort. There's an importance to it. But I can't always explain why, and that sometimes is quite annoying because nobody really can explain these things to me. I just learn from experience what works and what doesn't work. Because before I always tried to, Google everything, every dream, I would look it up. I don't want to say Google because I don't use it. I don't use Google at all anymore, except of course when I use YouTube. I have a phone that is de-Googled. It's like an Android version, but all Google services are taken out of it. And I use DuckDuckGo for search. So, I don't want to use the word actually, but you see, I looked up everything that I wanted to know, and it does cost a lot of time if you're trying to understand everything that you're doing. And maybe I've just understood enough, which is, just do it. It doesn't really matter why. Because if you're trying to understand it, you're going to get angry. Because you can't understand it. Because you cannot know everything. Because you think if you know why you're doing it, it's going to be easier. It's not. How often did I know why I do things? It wasn't much easier. It was just about doing them anyway. Of course, if you know why you do things, it is easier. So a certain degree of understanding is required, which you may get to when you reflect. But anyway, I was laying there and I was putting my hands on like this, just connecting with myself, and then it's something, I don't know. It happened, it felt like it was important. But that's about it. And then I felt like the process was ended, and today I resisted the urge to help with the wood chopping, which was hard. I slept a lot. And then suddenly I found the strength to clean my room, and that was unexpected. And a part of me hated it. I didn't want to do it. It's like that Gollum, rather chase the ring or something. But, I gathered enough strength to make it. And I know that's important. And now this room feels clean again, but I feel really exhausted. So, that's also the thing, now I want to do something nice, but I also feel like I should sleep. But I don't want to sleep. That's the other point. I want to keep working because just sleeping just feels so boring sometimes. I'd rather be awake, doing something, because it helps me move forward despite me being incredibly tired. I'd rather keep working until something has changed than waiting all the time and sleeping around. I've done that a lot. Don't want to do that anymore. So I'd rather work. So now the room is nice and clean, I feel like, now I can work. Before I would have thought, oh, now I can relax. But I don't feel like it's a time to relax. And that's just how it is. Figure it out for yourself.